and that includes 4 and 2-year colleges. So we're excited about that. Our allied health is always at the top of the list. We're kicking off a couple of new academic programs that may be of interest to our workforce folks. We're upgrading our information technology so that networking becomes a bigger part of that. We're also including a program in cybersecurity. That's a big issue. Paramedic to RN, and turf management for the golf courses, for the baseball, minor league baseball fields. Anything that turf is an issue, we'll have that program, and we'll be the only program. All right, and then we just got a national NSF grant for $470,000, and we're excited about that. We just found out about that last week, and it's a big deal because it's going to allow us to modernize and mobilize all of the things that we do with IT, including up the cybersecurity piece that we talked about. And we're continuing to distribute the $722,000 in Pioneer Strong grants. We're about $400,000 into that, but students are receiving unrestricted funds if they were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And then the last thing I want to say is we're changing the way we deliver training and education, but that doesn't mean the quality is going down. One of the things that we insist upon and that we will not stray from is that if you come to North Ark, you're getting a world-class education. And that's important to our employers and our business partners. So to that end, we're making 100% skills guarantee of our students who are affected by this pandemic and that are taking these alternative courses. In other words, if you hire one of our students and you find that there's a skill that they lack that we should have taught them, they can come back to North Ark and train in that skill for free. And it will be no cost to the employer or the student. So with that, just again, welcome everybody and help support your chamber, your college, and your county. We appreciate everything that everyone does for us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Esther. We appreciate that. We appreciate your support of the chamber and sponsoring this program. Just as a reminder, everybody, we've got a very important mission at the Chamber of Commerce. It's focused on business and economic development and community development. So we're pleased to be able to do this and pleased to have this series that's sponsored by North Arkansas College. And today we're very proud to have the Boone County elected leadership here. Judge Robert Hathaway and his department heads, several of the department heads are on the call from their respective offices. And here with us at the chamber, we have the judge, we have Amy Jenkins, and as the collector, and she's going to talk to you about collections, always money. And then we've got JP Fred Wohl, who's going to give us an update at the judge's request here in a little bit on the solid waste district, which we're glad to hear. Again, this activity is meant to engage your elected leadership with the community. We've got about 40 people on the call. We're pleased to have that. It's being streamed live on YouTube right now. So we've got another large group of people there. Pleased to have you with us. Judge, thanks so much for being here. We'd like to turn it over to you and get into the meat of it, to hear what you have to say, and then open it up for questions and answers.
Okay, thank you for having me. First, Dr. Esther, I'd like to thank you, and it's an honor for us in the college to have a partnership like we have. Your improvement is testimonial to you, not only your instructors, but your students, who are coming here to study. I think it's a great thing. Moving on, I'm just going to read the treasury report that I have. It's the beginning balance for the county general was $2,012,553,000. The previous balance is $2,574,000, or $2,574,744. Revenues for this month was $614,507. Previous, it was $574,566. Disbursements is $448,321 currently, and previously it was $1,136,757. Resulting in a balance with county general is $2,178,739. Previously it was $2,012,553. I'm sorry, $2,012,553. Beginning balance, I'm going to skip the road department because it's pretty well what it is. One quarter sales tax revenue was $321,088. Previously, it was $122,295. 1% county sales tax revenue was $141,027. Previously, it was $278,439. General revenue turnback was $31,107. Previously, it was $11,802. Highway revenue turnback was $95,907. Previously, it was $96,472. And the half-cent sales tax was $47,936. Previously, $52,009. Motor fuel tax, $13,659, previously $12,890. I would like to state these numbers do not reflect the accurate budget. Most of our numbers will be in July. We're about a month or 2 months behind before we really know what the numbers are. And so these numbers will change drastically, I'm sure. About the only thing I see being all better is the disbursements, because we're not spending as much because a lot of our office has been closed and stuff. Other thing I'd like to talk about is the airport. The seal coat on the airport runway should be finished next week. That was to protect against elements and UV rays and stuff like that. It was a $475,000 federally funded grant at no cost to the county. The flight schedules, of course, everybody knew they dropped because of the COVID-19, and this is all coming from our airport manager, Judy. They dropped pretty drastically. In April of this year, the airport only had 79 people who boarded, while there are 601 available seats. In May of this year, the airport saw an increase of 179 people who boarded. Last year in May, there was 474 people who boarded. Although it is far from the usual numbers, the numbers seem to be slowly climbing back. So that is definitely a positive.
Good.
Right. I'm pretty proud of our airport. I know Judy works hard and everybody does. We're lucky to have it. And I'd like to thank her for what she does too.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judge. Does anybody, we're going to get into some few questions and answers here in a little bit, but let's have the rest of the department heads that are available go ahead and make any opening comments they might have, and then we'll do the questions and answers. You're certainly welcome to use the chat feature on the call as well. Is Brandy Diffie on the call? I didn't see her name pop up. Then you get to ask the judge all the hard questions about the assessor's office.
Oh, great.
All right, let's jump over to Amy.
Well, I pulled some numbers for everybody to see how our property tax collection has been going and how it's been affected with COVID-19. We've been open and they're processing payments. We're still encouraging people to do everything automated if they possibly can. You'll see up there that we've got 2019 charge was nearly $24 million. That's what the assessor originally charges me to collect. Year to date, which is March 1st to May 31st, we've collected a little over $7 million. Comes out to about 29.77% of our charge. If you look at it and compare it to the 2018 numbers for the same time frame, we're just down a little bit. So it's nothing that we're really worried about. We're still getting the tax money in for the schools and other entities. So we're really happy with that. We also collect delinquent taxes, and our delinquent taxes for the same time period is up this year versus last year. So we've got an increase of about $46,000, which is good. So like I said, we're still there. We're still taking payments. We're encouraging you to do it by mail, online. We've got a drop box outside. We can take a credit card or a debit card. At the current time, if you want to do an in-person cash payment, we just ask that you follow the CDC recommendations, and then we'll escort you inside and we'll take your payment. So just a few things to remember, that the deadline is coming in October, so we don't want everybody to flock the courthouse and be in there. So try to get that done beforehand if you can. And if you have not received a statement or you have an issue, you need to call us, because those have gone out several months ago. So that's all I have, Bob.
Amy, thanks. So just a general comment, it looks like the taxes are coming in on time.
Yeah.
And that's good news for the county, good news for the schools, hospital, and everybody concerned. We don't seem to see a drop there, which I know from listening to a statewide meeting of chamber executives on Tuesday, that's not necessarily the case. They're seeing other county have problems in meeting their tax numbers. So this is good. Thank you, Amy. All right, is Jake Maddox on the call? Okay, then the judge is going to get to answer the coroner questions too. Crystal, are you on the call?
If they're dialed in, they might need to press star six.
Yeah, if you have dialed in and you're not on the video call, you're probably muted. You'll need to press *6 to unmute. Crystal, are you? Okay, I do not see her nor hear her, so we'll go to Judy Kay.
No, she should be on it, because she just texted me and said she was.
Judy Kay, if you're on and you're muted, just press *6. The judge said you just texted him, so this is your time.
Good morning.
Hey, there you are. Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. We're not seeing a huge change due to the COVID-19. We've encouraged everyone to e-file everything that they possibly can, all of their paperwork. If a lot of elderly people do like to come in and file their deeds, and they have been making appointments, and we've been working a lot by appointments. Our jury trials have been put off until July the 1st. That will be our first jury trial. It is scheduled for that. We do anticipate we anticipate the Supreme Court may change that. We'll just have to wait to see. Child support, everyone has been mailing in their payments. We have been conducting court through Zoom. It's working wonderfully. We're just very, very happy at the circuit clerk's office that everything is continuing to operate as it should through the pandemic. That's about all I have to say, unless someone has some questions.
Hey, Judy, thank you very much. With the court system backed up until July 1st, do you anticipate you anticipate a continued backlog then as you look ahead? What are we looking at now in the way of a backlog?
Continuing to, when I spoke with the judges, they are working trying to work out a plan to maybe have a jury trial by some other means other than individuals coming into the courthouse because of due to the limited space that we have right now in our courthouse. It's just all being talked about and trying to figure out something. That's what they're doing. But like I said, we do anticipate that the Supreme Court will probably put off jury trials even maybe till the end of July. I'm just waiting to see. We're not getting too backed up as far as in the circuit clerk, in the circuit court system, because we're trying, they're doing everything by Zoom, and a lot of people will go ahead and, work through their attorneys and through the prosecuting attorney's office to work out pleas.
Okay, thank you, Judy, and we'll come back and get some questions.
Thank you.
Shortly.
Thank you.
And Sheriff Robertson is joining the call. I just texted him, and he apologized for being late, so he'll be joining here shortly. And you gave the treasurer's report with all the numbers. So while we're waiting on the sheriff to join, let's go ahead and open it up for questions, please. And we can do that through chat, or you're welcome to join in and ask questions live of the judge. Or do you want to, while we're waiting for Tim, you want Fred to give his report?
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
That'd be good. All right. Tell us about the solid waste district and your challenges there.
It's been a challenging thing due to the stuff that's going on. We have hired a temporary manager, Bill Lord, who has a very extensive background in this, and he's doing a real good job. And we're going to be looking for a permanent manager. The advertising for it is going out probably next week. One of the unique things that I found, every time I turn over a rock, I find out something else, and I have just it's been a tremendous challenge. But one thing I have found out is that if this $18 is overturned, which already I believe it is going to be overturned, the solid waste board will be charged with coming up with a way to pay back the bondholders. So that could mean that there'll be a tax on your property, not necessarily a tax, but a charge or something. This is something that we're trying to work through, trying to figure out, and it's tough because, like I said, there hadn't been a lot of information shared. I will say that we have a very active board now that's really trying to work this out, something that we haven't had in a long time. One of the most challenging things is trying to find out stuff. We have the tire dump is through. They've got it covered up. It looks good. The landfill is operational like it was. ADEQ was in charge of doing that. They're trying to turn that back over to us. I don't know how well that's going to work out because it's going to cost an average of $200,000 to $250,000 a year to manage that, and I don't know where that money is going to be coming from. It's one of those things that it's just a challenging thing, but we are making progress. We are making lots of progress, more than we are. We made it a point to share information with everybody. There isn't just an us four and no more approach. It's challenging, and it's going to be. And if anybody has any questions, they can ask, and without any problem, I'll try to answer them the best I know how. But it's a unique thing. It honestly is. I've been on the board for over 2 years, and in the last 2 months, I've learned more than I did in the previous 2 years. And I really thank Judge Hathaway for putting me on this board.
I bet you do.
It's kept me away from my horses a lot, but it's one of those things that has to be done, and I'm really pleased with the people we have on the board. We are all working towards the same goal, which is something we have not had in a long time. And Bill Lord is an asset. He has a background in this. He knows more about this than anybody I know, and he's going to help us find a good person to take over the manager job. And if anybody out there is interested in this, they can get a hold of Bill. But it's a challenging thing. I mean, I've been involved with the government for a long time and stuff like this, and I've learned a lot of stuff the last 90 days that I never have known. And it's good. It's good to just be able to work towards a goal, but it's one of those things to where it isn't going to be easy.
That's a good report. I know that attending the quorum court meeting the other night, you made a report as well, and we know there are challenges just in getting your arms around the real leadership of the district. So this is going to be very important. It plays a critical role, and a lot of people don't think about that from an infrastructure standpoint, but somebody has to take care of that. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Fred. Let's go ahead and open up to questions. And did Sheriff Robertson jump on the call yet? Either on audio or video? Okay, let's go ahead and go to some questions. Now's your time to ask. Okay, I don't see any questions. I've got one maybe for Fred, back to the solid waste district.
Okay.
There's some confusion in the community as to the real value of the solid waste district. How does everybody benefit from having that in place, and what's the real role of the solid waste district?
Well, back in the 90s, the state legislature formed the solid waste district, and the purpose of this was to prevent unauthorized dumping and things of this nature. And that's where it all started. Now, honestly, this solid waste district we have now, we have no dumps. We have no landfills that are active. This solid waste district is charged with managing the old dump that they had bought. And that's it, because our trash that we have here in Boone County is hauled over around Cherokee-Bell. And that's where a lot of this other trash from the other county is being hauled. So the only thing that we have now as far as trash is to manage the old landfill. Now we still do the waste tires and e-waste. That is still part of our goal. But as far as us actually managing an active dump, that ended in 2009.
But isn't there a cost to the taxpayer in the county for every load that you take to the additional
well, the
landfill?
The hauler is charged a $2 tipping fee. Okay, and so it's and so that's what's given to the district to manage and operate.
Okay.
The district, that $2 tipping fee. Now that's not a tax per se. That's what we do is the hauler is charged with that. Now on the trash that's out here in Boone County, that is split up between us and the landfill that is being hauled to. So see that, and so we only get $1 per ton, and they get $1 per ton. And then, and see, in this 5-county area where we've got Searcy County, which has a tax. They have a tax that they use for hauling. And so that's a little bit different. And then in Newton County, which is part of the district, they charge per bag. I mean, you go to the county and buy a bag and you haul your trash in it. So everybody's a little bit different. And so you have to manage this not the same, but everybody equal. I mean, treat like this. And so that's what's really tough. But for us to say that, we don't have a landfill anymore. All our trash is hauled elsewhere, but we still charge for that to help manage what we've got. And that cost managing that landfill, when it's all said and done, is going to be about between $200,000 and $250,000 a year. And that's incredible. And it's
seems high, doesn't it?
It does seem very high. I have been told that we have to hire an environmental engineer, and we have to hire a geologist because of the karst underground and like that to help manage it. It's like I say, every time I turn over something else pops up, and so it's been something else. It honestly has, but I will have to say that at this point, ADEQ has done a good job of trying to help. I've talked with them quite a bit. Currently, they are managing the landfill. They want to turn it back to us, but until we can figure out how we're going to fund that, I don't see us taking it over.
Well, you certainly have the challenges there. Needless to say, it's a bureaucracy a lot of people don't understand, but there's a real need for it. Otherwise, what do we do? What does everybody around the table and on the call do with their trash?
Right, and that's
where does it go? What do you do with it? So,
well, the one thing I have done, and I mean this, I have tried to be open and upfront on everything that we've got. I mean, I have shared everything with the board, with the quorum court, everything that's going on, because it's one of those things that this affects our taxpayers.
Right.
It affects everybody, and not knowing this stuff is what's really tough. And if everybody has a knowledge of it,
right,
it will make it easier for them to understand, even if they don't agree with it.
Right.
If they know that we don't have any choice in the matter, it'll help.
That's important. So I appreciate that, Fred, very much. Thank you. Sheriff Robertson is on the call. So Tim, on behalf of the judge and the folks on the call, would you like to just give us a report of what's happening in the Boone County Sheriff's Office?
*6 to unmute.
*6 to unmute if you're muted.
Oh, Jimmy, got a star on a phone? What is that?
Okay, let's go ahead with some additional questions until we get the sheriff up on the call.
Hey, Bob, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. You got it. Thank you. Perfect.
Wow, that was tough.
Not as tough as being a law enforcement officer, but thank you for joining us this morning. So how about just a quick report on what's happened in the sheriff's office based upon the pandemic that we're going through and maybe what's planned for this weekend?
Okay, our pandemic, we're sticking with what we've been doing. We're still screening at the office, paying special attention to our jail. That's went well so far. If we can just keep that going, no big change there. In reference to this weekend, we've been spending about 12 to 14 hours a day planning for that, and I think we're ready. We're hoping for small turnouts with no issues, but we are prepared, or at least feel like we are very well prepared if there is problems.
Okay, that's good. question that we have here, how many prisoners do you have in the jail right now? And is overcrowding an issue there? Since it appears that there have been reduced numbers of crimes and citations over the last few weeks.
There has been. Our jail is really good. I think last night when I left, we were in the upper 70s, which is great for us. And it's been there, you know, for 6 weeks now. We are being a little choosy about, you know, what we do with our jail. Some of the smaller crimes, we're letting those folks bond where normally they wouldn't. But, you know, that'll catch up when the court system gets back up and running, and they have started. So we'll be back. I would think probably in the next couple of months, we're probably going to get back up, you know, closer to 100. And as Fred, and I'm not sure who all's on the call, you know, we look forward to, our goal is November to have 40 plus more beds, and I'm sure they'll fill quickly too. But the crime is down a little bit, like we've talked about. That's starting to come back. They're starting to come back up. We have, you know, certain crimes have actually increased, and those we're working pretty hard on those. And those are the ones that we do have in jail now, and those, and then the ones that, you know, are bad enough that we can't move on. So we'll get there. Things are going good.
How many, do you have any vacancies in the department now, Sheriff?
We don't. Well, we had a radio operator that moved on to a different career. But other than that, we're full up. We've actually put out on our Facebook page to fill that position. It's one that we can live without. You know, we run on our day shift. We've been having 2 radio operators just mainly because of the volume of telephone calls, and that kind of hurts us there. But in a position like we are right now, and she just left this week, our jail staff can help with the phone during the day, so we can survive that until we can get that position filled.
That's all good news, because I know in past years the sheriff's office has had vacancy. You mentioned a radio operator, and can you tell the group a little bit about what you and the Harrison Police Chief are doing with regard to consolidating your dispatch 911 services?
Well, we, you know, it's kind of a long story, but for years our 911 center, that, you know, they answer calls, and the person in need of help has to tell them what they need. They have to decide whether that person needs, you know, Harrison Police, us, an ambulance, or the fire department, or the rural fire department, and then they transfer that call to the proper agency. Now, I say that if it's us, the ambulance, or the police, they have to transfer that. They actually dispatch the fire departments, but you know, that takes a little time. So we felt that if we could cut that minute or two out of that call, that might save a life someday. So Danny has been doing some rearranging and remodeling over there at the OEM building, the old jail, and we will have all of our dispatchers is going to be in the same room together, you know, with everything they have at our office and the PD and 911 now. They'll all be in the same room together, so it cuts out that lag time, that transfer. And also, in the beginning, we're going to allow them to continue to do what they've done in the past, with the idea of cross-training our dispatchers with the PD dispatchers and the 911 dispatchers, and that we'll get to a point where whoever answers that call, you know, we may be at a point someday where a police department dispatcher answers a call and dispatches a call to, Lead Hill or Omaha. And equipment will allow them to do that. And it just cuts out that 30-second to 2-minute transfer time, depending on what type of call it is. There's a dead space there. And we just feel like as time goes on, we feel like we've been lucky that it hasn't happened, but those 30 seconds could cost somebody a life sometime, and that's what we're trying to prevent. And again, back to the dispatch thing, we don't want to get rid of anybody, but as attrition happens, we can make that dispatch center work with a few less people, a very few, so it'll save our agencies a little bit of money as that happens.
That seems to be a very efficient use of resources. So a great move, it sounds like, on with you and Chief Grady here. You mentioned the jail, and another question popped up. Is the construction for the new portion of the jail on track?
It actually is. If it's behind, it's very little. All those subcontractors, as time has went on, that they've all made the offer, or at least early on in COVID-19, to allow their employees to not come to work. And talking to those contractors, I think they've had 2 employees that's happened with. They've had 2 employees say, no, we don't want to come. Of course, they're outside, so that hasn't been a big issue. And I actually, day before yesterday, I walked around there, and if they're behind, it's very little. They've got the upper deck floor poured. They're laying block up there, and it's something. They had a lot of rain, but I think at the pace they're going, you never know what's going to happen. But it looks like they're going to meet their goal of, that basically our goal is to have that completed October 15th, and then we'll be looking for problems and getting those corrected, and hope to have that jail in our hands November 15th.
I know that's a need that's been identified for several years now, so that's great news that things seem to be on track. Very, very good, a good report. We look forward to working with you to have a big ribbon cutting down there November the 15th. We put it on the calendar, so now you have to deliver it.
All right, I'll do my best. Thank y'all very much.
That's good, Tim. Thank you, Sheriff. A question for the judge here. You talked about the roads and road repairs, and we've got the COVID-19 impact on the budget. Are the roads are you able to maintain the quality of our gravel and dirt roads?
We are. Construction hasn't changed much throughout the state. So we've been lucky. The only time my people have been at home is when it's raining and they can't work, and I've kept them separate. I didn't want them coming to the road department gathering around, so I'd send them to the house. But other than that, we've been business as usual.
Do you see the tax revenue falling in the next couple of months?
I do.
And would that impact the road budget moving forward?
It will. There'll be cutbacks. Of course, our budget is formed at the first of the year,
right,
and so it's not a guaranteed budget. So as things go on, we'll see what kind of deficit we have, and we're probably going to have to start cutting back on certain things. We do have some state paving jobs that we got planned. They're going to go ahead and go through. The state has okayed them and everything, so we'll go ahead and go through with them. Some equipment purchases that was already done before this all started. But other than weather, that's been our holdback, on maintaining and stuff.
And this morning, you had more opportunity to face challenges with trees down and more water.
We did. We had trees down up north, quite a few trees down, and the rain, of course, every time we seem like we get a road graded, it rains and tears it right back out. But my guys are out every day.
Yeah. That's good. So from the tax standpoint, it means that Amy has to go out and ensure that all that revenue comes in so we can get our roads graded, correct?
She is the collector.
She is the collector. That's good.
Bob, let me
Yes,
say
sir.
one thing. I'm also honored to serve as the chairman of our road committee. And one of the major phone calls I get all the time is that the road grader runs right by my house with his blade up. Why didn't he put the blade down? Well, they need to understand that they have a certain portion of the road that has to be graded, and they have to park the grader at home. So to get to the other point, they have to go past their house. If they were just to grade the same road every day, it wouldn't be. So that's one thing that I get lots of phone calls about that. And so they have to, you know, they try to work on every road at least every 3 months. Usually they make their route about every 3 months. Every 3 months. So they have to go to certain parts of that road, and that's what they have to do. And so if they see a grader going down the road with the blade up, they're not just driving down the road, they're going to the other part that they have to have, and it's a schedule that they have, and so it's tough. But I get a lot of phone calls about that.
That's interesting, Fred, and I think that explanation helps. Now I know why Terrapin Road has still got a hole in it. I got it. I appreciate that very much. Thanks. Last opportunity for additional questions for the judge and the department heads. Anyone?
Bob, I'd like to add to the merger of the 911 sheriff's office and stuff for central dispatch. In the past, we've had times when someone would call the sheriff's department and not feel like they got the response they needed, and they would blame my 911 for that. You know, because we called 911 and they didn't respond. Well, my 911 never got the call. You know, it went straight to the sheriff's department, or it went to the police department or the fire department. So that's the importance of this central dispatch, so that we have people there all the time, and it's going to one place instead of 3 or 4 different places.
And there's communication among the people in the same room.
You bet.
So that's got to speed up, as the sheriff mentioned, that's got to speed up the process of notifying folks. And if they cross-train, they can handle each other's calls.
Right.
That has got to improve the response time.
And in the past, you know, there's been one dispatcher
Right.
per shift, and if they're on one call, they can't just hang up to answer another call. And so if they don't catch this other call, then we're getting, well, 911 didn't even respond. You know,
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So this is going to cover a lot of the problems we've had in the past.
That's a tremendous improvement for the community, no doubt.
Yeah.
Tremendous improvement. One other thought, and it's really a question for the judge and all of the county officials on the call. There is, with COVID-19, there are a number of grant dollars available for everything from new equipment in the first responder category, and broadband. Broadband is something that we have some challenges with in some portions of Boone County. And yesterday, the state announced a very large broadband initiative that is really going to be focused on rural Arkansas. And while there is coverage available in Boone County, we've got a lot of dead spots. Do you foresee working with the municipalities, Alpena, Valley, Bergman, Diamond Hill, Omaha, and getting them quality broadband in the near future?
I do. Of course, I've got Danny Bowen, my 911 coordinator, and he is great at that.
Good.
He is on these grants like, you know, nobody else. He's gotten us a lot of grants during this COVID-19. And not only that, he has helped acquire a grant for the hospital and stuff. So we're doing everything we can to try and help these outside communities and stuff, you know, get online with everybody else.
And that's critical. I know that Dr. Pratt from the school district was talking the other day on our economic recovery task force, the fact that there are some students, even in the Harrison school system, that don't have internet access in their home. So it's been a challenge with the AMI activities over the past few weeks. So this is all good for, as long as we continue to make steps forward in getting broadband to everybody. The governor is very committed, along with the FCC and the Economic Development Agency of the Department of Commerce is very interested in broadband access. So that's great news to hear that we'll continue to work with them.
One of the problems and this has to do with utilities and stuff like that. I had a lady come in the other day and said they couldn't get better internet because their road wasn't paved. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but if that is one of the circumstances of getting broadband and stuff, that's going to be a problem.
I would be surprised that one of the internet service providers, the ISP, said, sorry, we can't come to your house because the road's not paved.
Right.
That seems to be pretty unusual, so we hope that's not the case.
Yeah, with 1,300 miles of dirt and gravel roads, it would be hard for us to make that happen.
That's right.
The judges worked really hard. Matter of fact, last year that you had them or agreed to put them those antennas,
The towers,
the towers, that would really help phone service and internet service. So the judge has been very active in that.
That's good. And again, all part of moving the county forward is to have access for everybody to broadband, to internet, especially from an education standpoint. With college doing online courses this summer, the school probably going to be doing public schools, all of the school districts doing online programs. It's going to be really important. So, all right. I see we don't have any other questions online, so I want to again thank the judge and here with us in the room, JP Fred Wohl, Amy Jenkins, and on the line today, the other department heads. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for the support of the chamber. Thank you for the work that you're doing to make Boone County a better place to live. So in wrapping up, just #Believe Boone County. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right.